Well, listeners and the learners, good afternoon. So I welcome you all on the behalf of my esteemed colleague Dr. Rashmi Bansal for this teleconferencing session on business communication. So I am Dr. Sunil Gupta, a faculty member in School of Management Studies. So today the topic for discussion is business communication, which constitute an integral part of ASP1. So this topic is particularly meant for those listeners, for those learners who are pursuing their application oriented course, that is ASP1, which we have already mentioned. So today, as the topic suggests, business communication, so well learners, you might be knowing that there are so many things which need to be taken into account for business communication, either whether it is for writing a letter or anything else. So when we talk about business letter particularly, so there are many things which we kept into mind. Say for example, there are certain basic principles which we need to kept into mind for writing a good business letter. Say here I would like to tell you that you might be knowing about 4 C's. That is the clarity, second one is the correctness, third one is the concurrence, and finally the next one is courtesy. So again we have to see so many things, right, like the contents of the business letter and the commandments which the person must take into account for writing a good business letter. So with these words, I again welcome you all with my esteemed colleague Dr. Rashmi Bansal and hand over the session for the further discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil, for introducing me. Today I am going to speak on the topic business communication. Communication is an integral part of modern life. Whether it being an individual or a group of persons or the society, it has to communicate with others for day-to-day work. Likewise, for an efficient and vibrant business enterprise, communication is not only the means of its survival, but it needs very effective communication for expanding its activities and serving the society and the nation. Fortunately, over the years, various means of communications have developed. Today it is called the age of information technology, which means the information, including database, can be transferred to any part of the world within a few seconds. This technology has helped the effective transaction of business and has generated lot of employment. BPO, that is business process outsourcing, has been possible only through the development of information technology. BPO, while on the one hand has provided employment to a large number of young people, on the other hand it is one of the top few sources of foreign exchange. However, still for a number of the works, the conventional means of communications such as correspondence through letters, through post and telegraph, etc. takes place. Thus various kinds of business inquiries, purchase orders, debt collection, complaints and their redressal and public relations largely depend upon effective business correspondence. In fact, office letters are regarded as silent ambassadors of business. Through beautifully drafted letters, a business enterprise is able to attract a large clientele. Of course, the information technology has made the delivery of the letters very fast. In this lecture, I shall try to delve on the basic principles of business correspondence and the formats and arrangements of different types of business letters. Let me first list the basic principles of the business correspondence. These principles are listed on the next slide. Basic principles of correspondence. First, clarity. Second, coherence. Third, brevity. Fourth, courtesy and friendliness. Fifth, simplicity and natural flow. Sixth, correctness. Seventh, completeness. Eighth, originality. Ninth, attractiveness. 10th, effectiveness. Let me explain these points briefly. First, clarity. The clarity is the most essential requirement of a letter. The words used should not be vague or ambiguous. The letter must convey to the recipient the exact meaning which the sender wants to communicate. Second, coherence. The letter should be written in a logical manner. One should follow another in a proper sequence. Third, brevity. A good business letter should be concise and exact. A long letter containing irrelevant matter gives a poor impression of the writer and also of the business house. Fourth, courtesy and friendliness. The tone of the business letter should always be courteous and polite. An offensive language creates a poor image of the business house. Words like please and kindly always bring positive response. Fifth, simplicity and natural flow. A business letter should be written in simple language with a natural flow of words. Effort should be made to give a personal touch to the message which is intended to be communicated. Sixth, correctness. A business letter should be grammatically correct and factually accurate. In letters of inquiry, orders, complaints, references, etc., information given should always be correct and exact. Seventh, completeness. A business letter should be complete in all respects. An incomplete letter may compel the receiver to make further correspondence on the subject, resulting in wastage of time. 8th, originality. Originality of form, expression and style make business letters more appealing, particularly for sales promotion or on special occasion such as launching of a new product. 9th, attractiveness. A neat and tidy letter, clearly typed or written on a good quality paper, make it attractive. 10th, effectiveness. The ultimate goal of a business letter is the desired response in a positive manner within a reasonable time. Obviously delayed or negative response shows ineffectiveness of the letter.
So I think Dr. Rashmi Bansal, these basic principles you have discussed so far, so simple and so influencing. You know that sometimes what happens that in case if we don't follow these principles while writing a letter, so it may create the problem. Like if you are not courteous, if you are using a very vague language, offensive language, it means that the person to whom you are sending the communication may or may not receive your communication, and he may perhaps not respond your communication also. So one should be very much particular about writing this letter, and he must follow all these basic principles while writing a letter.
Yes. In fact, there are 10 commandments for writing a good business letter. These are shown on the next 2 slides. 10 commandments for writing a good business letter. First, write as you talk. Second, be courteous and friendly. Third, be natural. Fourth, learn to visualize your reader and be helpful. Fifth, keep an open mind. Appreciate your reader's point of view. Sixth, practice real diplomacy. Seventh, be willing to admit mistakes. Eighth, write clearly and to the point. Ninth, tell your readers what they want to know. 10th, dramatize your letter or show them reasons. Form of letter. A good appearance of the letter creates a positive impression on the mind of its receiver or reader. While writing a letter, the points shown on the next 2 slides should be kept in mind. Points for an attractive letter. First, a good quality and standard size paper. Second, neatly typed, free from grammatical errors. Third, proper margin. Fourth, properly folded. Fifth, proper sized envelope. Sixth, full address on the envelope. Let me briefly explain the above points. First, a standard sized paper is used for normal letters. Second, usually the official letters are typed single space between lines and double space between the paragraphs. Third, proper margin on the left and right hand side of the letter as well as adequate space at the top and bottom of the letter make the letter more appealing and attractive. Fourth, folding. The letter is folded according to the size and type of the envelope. As far as possible, minimum number of folds should be made to keep the attractiveness of the letter intact. Fifth, envelope. A proper sized envelope, depending upon the size of the letter, should be used. Usually, the name and address of the addressee are printed on the back of the envelope. Window envelopes may be used to save the time of typing the address, but in that case, the letter is folded in such a manner that the address is visible through the window. Arrangement of a letter. After explaining the form of a letter, I should describe how different parts in a letter are arranged. The contents of a business letter should be arranged in a scientific manner to make it more effective and attractive. Depending on the custom, experience and requirement, a regular form and structural arrangement of a letter have been evolved over the years. On the next slide, I will show different parts of a business letter. Different contents of a business letter. First, heading. Name of the company or firm, address, telegraphic address, telex, fax. Second, date. Third, inside address, that is addressee. Fourth, salutation, that is dear sir, etc. Fifth, main body. Sixth, complimentary clause or subscription. Seventh, signature. I shall try to illustrate the above points by giving suitable examples. First, heading. The illustration of heading is shown on this slide. This is actually the letterhead of the sender company, as can be seen. It consists of sender firm's name, complete address with PIN code, telephone number, telegraphic address if any, telex, fax number, etc. Date is also printed on the right hand side. Reference number is also written so that the addressee, while replying, can quote this reference number. One should be quite careful while selecting the font size of different items on the letterhead so that it looks attractive. There is a saying, first impression is the last impression. The first letter of the firm to the addressee should create a positive impression. Second, date. As mentioned earlier, the date is also printed on the letterhead and the addressee, while replying, is expected to mention the reference number and the date of the letter. Third, inside address. It means the correct address of the company or individual to which the letter is being sent. This is written on the left hand side of the letterhead just after the printed heading. It should be written in 3 or 4 lines, giving the name of the firm first line, number of shop or office followed by the street name second line, and finally the name of the city with PIN code. If the address is of a foreign country, the name of the country should be given in the 4th line. An illustration of inside address is shown on the next slide. Messrs. Ramdas, 64, Bandar Road, Mumbai, 400003. In this context, following points should be kept in mind, which are shown on the next slide. First, Messrs. is prefixed to the name of a firm or company if it begins with a personal name, for example, Messrs. Sohan Lal and Sons. Second, but if the name is impersonal, showing designation, the is used. For example, the registrar, the mayor. Third, when a firm or company is titled with the names of lady, the prefix ma'am is used. For example, Ma'am Sarah Smith and Lucy John. Fourth, for an individual, Mr. or Shri is used. For example, Mr. David Abraham, Shri Satya Prakash. For ladies, normally Miss is used. For example, Miss Ravi Bala. Fifth, title of honor like Padma Shri or Padma Bhushan or Bharat Ratna should always be written before the name of an individual addressee. For example, Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Sixth, for a person holding a titled position such as professor or doctor, such prefix should always be used before his name. For example, Professor P. Singh, Dr. A.K. Jain. It is a common practice in business correspondence to invite the attention of a particular person to the letter. In such a case, the letter is officially addressed, but below the heading or at the right hand side after the address of the firm, the attention of the concerned person is drawn by writing as shown on the next slide. Fourth, opening salutation. Dear sir if formal or my dear if informal is usually written. For a firm, usually dear sirs or gentlemen is used. Some examples are shown on the next slide. Dear sir for impersonal position such as registrar. Dear Mr. Jain, formal. My dear Mr. Jain for a person known well. Dear sirs for a company. Fifth, main body of the letter. This is the core and the most important part of the business letter. The main paragraphs forming main body of the letter are shown on the next slide. Main body of the letter. First, the introductory part. Second, the main communication. Third, the closing paragraph. Let me explain these points briefly. First, the introductory part usually refers to the previous communication, if any, and therefore begins with a phrase like happy to inform you, etc., or we regret to write, or we are thankful for your kind letter, etc. Second, the main communication deals with the main subject of the letter and may be divided into two or more paragraphs if necessary. As far as possible, abbreviations referring to product, pricing, quotations, persons, cities, dates, etc. should be avoided. The purpose of the letter writing should be explained precisely but concisely. Third, closing paragraph. The concluding paragraph should be suitably worded so as to sustain the interest of the addressee. Phrase like looking forward to hearing from you soon, or waiting for an early reply, or even simply please reply soon is used.
So it meant, Dr. Bansal, the body of the letter should be designed very scientifically. It means the letter must start with the introductory part, where one can mention about the previous reference, so that once the letter is being read out by someone, so immediately the person knows that the person is talking regarding that reference. And then one should come to the main part of the communication, what you want to convey to the next part is, and then it should be closed with the closing paragraph. So it should be designed very scientifically, I think.
The complimentary clause. This is an expression of regard or respect that the letter writer wants to convey to the addressee and formally take leave. In fact, it is a kind of handshake and see you again. It should be consistent with the introductory salutation. The opening salutation and the complimentary clause are shown on the next slide. Sixth, signature. It forms the last part of a letter. If it is not typed but is written in handwriting, as the signatures are mostly illegible, it is customary to type the name of the signatory below his signature. A specimen is shown on the next slide. Supplements to the letter. Besides the main contents of the letter, sometimes there are supplements that give additional information. These supplements are shown on the next slide. Supplements to the letter. First, enclosures. to indicate the document sent along with the letter. For example, enclosed one copy of invoice. Second, postscript, that is PS. Important and urgent information not known earlier is written as postscript. There must be initials of the writer below it. Third, margin and indentation. First, the name of the addressee and the address are intended to facilitate quick spotting by the reader. Second, the first line of each paragraph should be indented a little from the margin. Fourth, identification marks, initials. The writer and the typist of the letter are required to put their respective initials so as to bear the responsibility of their work. Kinds of business letters. Depending on the nature of circumstances, business letters may be of various kinds. These letters may be classified into 5 general types as shown on the next slide. Kinds of business letters. First, letters of inquiries, quotations, orders and acceptance. Second, letters of claims, complaints and adjustments. Third, agency letters. Fourth, status inquiries. Fifth, banking letters. Let me explain each type of these letters briefly. Letter of inquiry. It is addressed by prospective buyers to possible suppliers for seeking information about the availability of goods and the terms and conditions of supply. It may include full description of the goods required or may request to send the catalog and the price list. Letter of quotation. After receiving an inquiry from a prospective buyer, a letter of quotation is sent in reply. Business quotations should be prepared, giving complete information as to the nature and quality of goods, the time and mode of delivery, price per unit of weight or measurement, charges for packing, transportation and other services, and terms of payment, that is whether on cash or credit or against acceptance. On the next slide, I have given a sample of the body text of such a letter. Although our prices are fixed, 10% discount will be given on all quoted prices if cash is paid on delivery of documents through the bank. A credit of 30 days is allowed from the date of receipt of documents, provided a bank guarantee is furnished in advance. Cost of packing, transportation and insurance will be borne by us. Letter placing an order. While placing order with the supplier, the letter provides detailed particulars about the goods as well as the terms of purchase. A sample of body text of such a letter is given on the next 2 slides. We find the quality and prices satisfactory and are pleased to place herewith an order for the following items. First, 100 pieces Baba suits of different colors for children. item number 27 of the catalogue at the rate rupees 40 each. Second, 200 pieces ladies house coats, item number 49, rupees 105 each. Please dispatch the goods by railway parcel and send the railway receipt duly endorsed in our favor and drawn upon our bankers, namely Bank of India, Allahabad, for the invoice value after deducting 3% cash discount. Kindly treat the order as urgent as we have to meet outstanding demands. Letter of acceptance of order. It is sent after receiving the order. In this letter, the supplier acknowledges receiving the order and welcomes the customer, expressing pleasure in serving the order. A specimen of body text of such a letter is given on the next slide. We thankfully acknowledge your letter dated 10th February 2008 placing order for ladies and children garments. We have booked your order in accordance with your instructions and assure you its prompt execution. In any case, not later than 28th February 2008. We hope you will find our garment satisfactory and look forward to an enduring relationship with your firm. Letters of claims, complaints and adjustments. Letters of claims and adjustments are written to the suppliers of goods when there are defects in the goods received. Such letters are sometimes written to railways, roadways, postal or insurance authorities when the goods are lost or damaged in transit. A letter of complaint is written if there is delay in the execution of the order by the supplier or the quantity and quality of goods received do not conform to those ordered or the terms and conditions of payment, delivery, etc. are not those as mentioned earlier in reply to the inquiry or given in the catalogue. A specimen of the body text of a letter of complaint regarding defective goods is shown on the next slide. We took the delivery of the parcels sent by you and regret to inform you that 2 tea sets were found broken, possibly on account of bad packing. Kindly send us the replacement or a credit note for the same. Dunning letter. A dunning letter is written by the suppliers when the buyer does not make payment after repeated requests and reminders. The tone of the dunning letter should be courteous but firm. Agency letter. An agency letter is written by the manufacturers to establish agency relationships with other business firms in different towns and cities, or a business house on its own may apply to a manufacturer or supplier for an agency explaining its financial resources, business connections, area and scope of operations, guarantee of business, rate of commission and business references, etc. If the manufacturer or supplier is convinced about the particulars of applicants, inquiries are made regarding the financial position and business dealings of the applicants from the referees On receipt of satisfactory replies from the referees, the draft agreement or form is sent for completion and signature. An agency is given to that firm. On the other hand, if the manufacturer or supplier is not convinced, a letter of regret is sent. A sample of the body text of the letter requesting for agency is shown on the next 3 slides. Our firm has been doing business in ready-made garments for more than 30 years. We are the premier suppliers of these garments in Delhi region and feel confident that we shall be able to push the sale of your products, particularly of Jaipur and Sanganer prints in this area. For the present, we assure you a minimum business of rupees 50,000 per month. We charge 10% commission on the gross sales and guarantee all payments within a period of 90 days from the date of receipt of consignment. All other expenses will be reimbursed by the principal. Our bankers are Bank of India, Saket, New Delhi. As regards our credibility and business potential, references may be made to Messrs. Jhalani and Company, Badi Chopar, Jaipur and Roop Lakshmi, Jhauri Bazar, Jaipur. Status inquiries. These business letters are written to make inquiries about the credibility, financial standing and dealings of a particular business firm. These letters are confidential. While replying to such letters, no element of bias or malice should be apparent. While conveying a favorable opinion, no superlative words should be used. A sample of the body text of a favorable reply to the status inquiry letter is given on the next slide. In this regard, we would like to inform you that we have been doing business with the above referred firm for the last several years. They have been making payments in time and have taken extra pains to promote our products. Besides, they have good warehousing facility available and can handle large orders efficiently. We hope this information will help you in taking an appropriate decision. A sample of an unfavorable report is given on the next slide. Unfavorable report. With reference to your letter dated, we regret to inform you that the firm does not enjoy good reputation in their dealings with other business houses. We have been experiencing irregularity in their payment schedule. We trust that you would keep this reference strictly confidential. Banking letters. Business houses write letters to banks for availing their various services. The letters written to banks should be brief and exact. Usually, the following types of letters are written to the banks. First, issue of letter of credit. Second, letter for collection of checks. Third, letter for issue of drafts. Fourth, letter giving standing instructions. Fifth, letter for overdrawn accounts. Sixth, letter advising payment of bills. First, issue of letter of credit or LC. When a business house imports machinery or goods from a foreign company, this facility is availed. Actually, the foreign supplier asks the importer to open a letter of credit in their names and inform their bank. This ensures the payment to them after the consignment has been dispatched. The body text of such a letter by the business house to their bank is shown on the next slide. Request to bank to issue letter of credit or LC. We wish to inform you that we are to import industrial machinery from Messrs. Siemens to Rommelstrasse, Erlangen, Germany. The copies of import license and foreign exchange permit issued by Reserve Bank of India in our favor are enclosed herewith for your record. You are requested kindly to issue a letter of credit for an amount of $10,000 and intimate your agents in Frankfurt under advice to us. On hearing from you, we shall duly inform our suppliers. Second, letter for collection of checks. Sometimes there is inordinate delay in the collection of checks deposited in the bank. This may upset the payment of the bills. In such an event, bank is requested to expedite collection of the deposited checks. A sample of the body text of such a letter written to bank is shown on the next slide. Letter complaining delay in the collection of checks. We deposited following 2 checks in your bank on January 10, 2008 to be credited to our current account number such after collection. First, check number such dated 2/12/2007 drawn on State Bank of India, New Delhi for ₹5,000. Check number such dated 4/12/2007 drawn on Punjab National Bank, Chavri Bazar, Delhi for ₹7,500. Going through the statement received from you, we find that these checks have not been credited as yet. We shall be thankful if you could look into the matter and do the needful and under advice to us. Third, letter countermanding payment of check. Sometimes a check issued to the party is lost during transaction. In such an event, bank has to be informed for stopping the payment of such a check if presented. The sample of the body text of such a letter is given on the next slide. Letter countermanding payment. We had issued a check number such dated October 15, 2007 for ₹3,500 to Messrs. Ramnath and Sons, Patiala. The party has informed us that the said check has been lost. You are requested kindly to stop the payment of the above mentioned check and please inform us in case it is presented for collection.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi Bansal, for presenting such a nice presentation. I do hope that the listener or the learners might have enjoyed these presentations very well. See, when in fact we write a business letter to the another party, we are supposed to be very careful while writing a letter, as Dr. Bansal has mentioned, and as she has outrightly described so many types of letter and the commandants, the basic principles, the basic contents of the letter while writing a business letter. In fact, when we are not clear about the subject matter of a business letter, it sometimes creates many problems, and even the person who is going to receive the letter may not get it in a proper way. So the letter, while drafting the letter, the person must be very much careful, and he should be very scientifically, write a letter, so that the person to whom you are sending a letter might get it in the same way as you want to convey the message. Thank you, Dr. Bansal, for such a meticulous presentation on business communication, and I again hope that the student have enjoyed a lot for this presentation.
Thank you very much.